Hey, every pony, it's Digibrony with...
A.
Apparently his name is A. You are watching part 1B of the insanely long Q&A with Digibrony, in which he reads me questions and I answer them. We're continuing from right where we left off with the section on stuff about MLP and my channel, so without further ado, let's get to it.
Matthew Con 965.
No, we already did that guy. You're fucking up already.
No, I mean, it's still him going.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was reintroducing him
we don't
as a
care.
character. Okay. Who is your favorite background character?
Okay, the second most asked question in the AMA. Congratulations on being the first to ask it. I like a lot of the background ponies, so it's hard to pick a favorite. The one I identify with a lot is Berry Punch, because she's supposed to be drunk all the time, and I like to drink. I used to be on the Reddit board My Little Alcoholic, and if you go on there, you'll see just how magnetic she is. I also like Colgate because she's a dentist, and I don't know, I like this whole dentist thing. My favorite is probably Lyra. I love the whole obsessed with humans, wanting to have... Lyra! That kills people! Yes, she's just human obsessed, like semi-insane, just freaking out all the... I love it. I find it fucking hilarious. People always do this like dry cut. Just the picture of her sitting down like a human is just brilliant. I love it. So yeah, I love Lyra. All those jokes crack me up entirely. Next.
What is your favorite part of writing, producing, and uploading videos?
The writing part, easily. I really enjoy conceptualizing the videos because I'm sitting there and I'm having ideas and it's all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write this and it's gonna be a great video, and then I write it and I'm like putting my ideas into words and it's coming together and it's like, yeah. Sometimes that can be hard where I write for about 2,000 words before I actually know where the hell I'm going with it, which is what happened in that the one where it's called about Lauren Faust's creative input on the show. Like the first half of the video is just like, where is he going with this? Or the season 3 overview where it starts off with this like really pretentious intro that was actually twice as long originally, but I cut out half of it. Anyway, the point is that I like the writing part where I'm figuring out what my ideas are. Then I record it, and that's fun because I'm using my voice. I fuck up entirely too much, and I hate that because I have to edit it then. But I was like, whatever. I like talking. And then I put it in a video, and then it all goes to hell, because then I have to do the Digibrony facial expressions, which is fine. It's not that hard. It takes like half an hour to throw in all the stills of Digibrony talking. Then I have to do the other stuff, where I have to take the episode and cut it into clips, and put those clips in the appropriate places, and then find all these images, and I get pretty lazy with it. I think I do, like, I'm just like, as long as it's good enough that it's entertaining, I'm fine. You know, I talk fast, whatever. People aren't going to be worried about it. I would love it if I had the patience. I would rather it looked like Game Theory or something, where it's like everything he says has a funny image in there, and you know he does a great job, or JonTron or something. But I don't have the patience. That part's a fucking nightmare. Next question.
Salvision. Do you think that Scootaloo or Fluttershy's family will ever be revealed?
It'd be nice. It'd be cool. I really do think we should probably learn something about Fluttershy's family. That would be fun. So yeah, why not? I think we should get a scene with Fluttershy's parents similar to the one we had with Rarity's parents. That would be great.
Do you have any concerns for Twilight now that she's an alicorn?
I don't have any concerns. I'm not concerned about. I guess I'm concerned that maybe she might have some problems. I don't know. I just am interested. I want to see where she goes. I don't really want to see her like buckling under the pressure and all that. I don't want to have like a whole episode about like, I don't know if I can do it, because it's just a tired plot concept. I'd rather it be like she's doing really well, but just has this niggling feeling like I'm gonna fuck this up, you know. But I don't want it to be like this overly dramatic thing. So yeah.
Zoran, do you believe that there are currently very old unicorns that are better than Twilight at magic? In the episode where Trixie returns, Twilight stated that age spells are only able to be performed by top-level unicorns, and Twilight could not perform the spell. Also, do you think that Shining Armor can cast better shield spells than Twilight, even with her being an alicorn?
The whole concept that some unicorns are stronger than other unicorns is weird to me because of the fact that they specified that that unicorns each have a unique magical ability. But it's weird because the episodes that these come up in, it's like Magic Duel is up in, like, it's like Ghostbusters was the episode that established that each unicorn is supposed to have a unique kind of magic and that Twilight is magic itself. But then that episode also introduces Trixie, and it never really resolves the idea that maybe Trixie's special talent is not the same kind of magic as Twilight's. And then Trixie comes back in Magic Duel and they still never address this. Which has been bothering me forever. Of course, I think Ghostbusters is just a completely uncarefully written fucking episode anyway, which is why it's headache-inducing for me. But this idea that one unicorn is stronger than the other is just weird because they're supposed to all have their own unique talents. So I do think that Twilight could probably learn like any kind of magic because magic is her talent. It's just a matter of which ones would she care about, which ones would she want to learn. Why would she want to learn barrier magic? Whereas, whereas Shining Armor, that's like his whole thing, is that he's an armor pony. He's going to learn these special things. So, I don't know. I don't know if she'd be able to cast one as strong as him. I want to believe that she can, but I just want more clarification about the whole unicorn magic thing, and if there really are such thing as stronger unicorns. Oh, and as for the question about if there's older unicorns who are stronger at magic than Twilight, I do think it would be really cool if we got to see older unicorns. Regardless of whether they're stronger than Twilight, it would be really cool if she had someone to like bounce ideas off of. Because, she talks to Princess Celestia about magic and all, but Celestia's busy. I want someone she can actually have a decent conversation about magic with.
Needs a Mr. Miyagi.
Sure.
Of magic.
Just keep going.
Okay. Digibrony. Have you ever read or listened to My Little Dashie? If so, what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, I get asked about My Little Dashie a lot, and back when I first got into the fandom, My Little Dashie was like a pretty big deal at the time, and I remember that my first experience with it was that somebody had taken the first chapter and adopted it into like this Tamagotchi game, where it was like rainbow, like basically it would tell you like part of the chapter. It was like, it tells you the part up until he meets Rainbow Dash, and then you're playing like this little raising Rainbow Dash minigame where it's just like you feed her and she walks around your screen and says, "I love you, Daddy." And then you do each new part of the chapter, but he had only done like a little bit of it. But just, I was so not interested at all. Like, the main character just seems like a complete fucking... He's exactly like the main character in like every visual novel, which I hate, because they're always these guys who are like, my life sucks, I'm sick of the world, other people are stupid, and I'm like, I'm just not like that, I like my life, and I have a lot of faith in the world, so those kind of people don't appeal to me, and I was just like, this is lame. So I have no interest whatsoever in reading My Little Dashie, and I also don't even like sad fics, so, it's just not up my alley at all.
Anonymous. Best fan-made YouTube thing?
Okay, my favorite fan-made... Okay, can you switch the camera so that it's not... Because I feel like there's all this space over here that's just unnecessary. Anyway. The best... Well, am I going to read it while you're doing that? The best fan-made YouTube thing for me is called Luna Lucid Mode by Cat's Millionaire. The song and video. It's the mashup to end all mashups. So the song, it's a song that's like an original song, but it takes parts from Luna Dream Mode by Eurobeat Brony, and it takes a verse from Pony Swag by Swagberg, and it combines them into the song. It's this really awesome emotional song that I love even on its own. Then they make the video, and the video has like mixed media, so parts of it are like stills, like still images telling a story. And then there's parts of it that are like drawings on popsicle sticks bouncing around and stuff. And the video itself, it's telling the story of Luna having this like existential crisis, and it's completely meant to reference End of Evangelion, which is like my favorite movie of all time. And then there's a framing device around this story that is Cat's Millionaire and Circuit Fry playing a concert to this, like, bar of no one who are all just, like, basically debating with themselves, is this the worst show we've ever seen, or is this kind of okay, you know? So it's just this terrible performance in this bar, and Luna having this complete mindfuck with End of Evangelion, and there's parts where, like, just the song, it's just meta as fuck. It's just super dense and super meta, and I love that, and the song is amazing, and I'm a huge fan of End of Evangelion, so it's the perfect storm for me. I definitely recommend that. Next question.
Best voice actress?
This is a hard one, because all of the voice actresses have brilliant moments. Some of them have sort of weird moments. I think Andrea Libman as Pinkie Pie is probably the best, because she gets all these amazing lines. I love Ashley Ball both as Rainbow Dash and AJ, and early on into my fandom of My Little Pony, I got really into the band Hey Ocean, which Ashley Ball is the singer of, which I found out about because of My Little Pony. And so it's funny because she's like super sexy sounding in Hey Ocean and totally isn't as using the same voice as AJ and Rainbow Dash. And it's funny because it's like, it's so different, but it's like, yeah, I kind of don't need that sexual tension coming from MLP while I'm watching it. You know, I don't need to be sitting there going, oh, Ashley Ball's voice is so hot. But but I can't help but sometimes think about it. Just I always picture AJ singing "Turn Up the Stars" in a bar in like a red dress or something. I've wanted to make an animation of that forever. It would be so awesome. Just like her, just doing the whole like bar, like low lights, you know, smoke everywhere. Next question.
Best crystal pony?
The Hermes pony, I guess. Why not?
Best stallion?
Fancy Pants. That dude is a fucking bro. If anyone wants me to voice Fancy Pants in anything, I will do it. I will need practice because, as I realized in the Crepuscular Bronies podcast last night, I don't actually remember what Fancy Pants sounds like. But I love Fancy Pants.
Best filly?
Sweetie Belle! She's adorable!
Derpy hooves. Would you rather a pegasus, unicorn, or a earth pony?
Okay, you should probably clarify that. Derpy hooves is asking the question, because you just said Derpy hooves, would you rather be a... Like, I got confused. Derpy hooves asks, would you rather be a pegasus, unicorn, or earth pony? I really identify with the unicorn best, or, well, no, that's not the question, because I'm going to address that later, but I want to be the unicorn because I can move shit with my mind, and that's really convenient, and I'd get a kick out of using all these special powers. Next.
Fly dive.
No, you skipped George Motherfreaking Goldsmith.
It all looks the same.
You're stranded on a desert island with the main six, and there's a major earthquake leaving a very large crack in the ground. You can only save one pony, and the rest of them will indefinitely die. Who do you save? Well, everyone in the world will indefinitely die. If they're not definitely going to die, then I'm not that worried about it. And honestly, how am I going to save one of these ponies? Because I'm pretty weak, and I can't even do a pull-up, so I don't know how I'm going to lift the whole horse, but Applejack.
You have a rope?
Grab it with the teeth. Next question, Fly Die.
Fly Die. What is your opinion on Equestria Girls? I'm sure you will have heard of it by now.
So, do you know about Equestria Girls?
It's the one where they're humans. Yeah, it's grotesque.
Well, that's his opinion on it. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people have asked me about Equestria Girls, obviously. It's actually just... My reaction to this in the comments is, am I just now getting the first Equestria Girls question? This AMA is going to be so long. This is like me first realizing just what the fuck I'm getting myself into. So... yeah, my thoughts on Equestria Girl are simply, we'll find out when we find out. I'm not going to pass judgment on it until it's here. It's the character designs were like, the outfits were nice, but the whole tattoos on the face thing is just what the fuck. But we'll see when we see. I'm not really into high school stories, so even if it's good, but if it's like totally generic high school story, I probably won't be interested.
Daniel Wyzik. What pony would you bring into the real world, and what specifically would you do with him or her?
made that sound so sensual.
I feel like that was the implication.
I don't want to be careless about this answer, because the way I see it, I'm basically uprooting one of these ponies from their life and everything that they care about. So if I have to choose one, it has to be the one who would most likely want to take the journey or best be able to handle it. So I'd probably either choose Lyra so that she can finally learn about humans, or Berry Punch so that she and I can just get wasted all day and she won't have to think about it.
Anonymous, what do you think of the baby pony form? Do you like it how it is, or would you change the form in any way?
I think it's insanely adorable, and why would I change that?
What did you think when they gave Mr. and Mrs. Cake a baby pegasus and a baby unicorn for kids?
I thought it was funny, and it proved that ponies can mate across type.
Who is your favorite twin, Pound or Pumpkin?
Based on the webcomic Slice of Life by Egophiliac, I'm going to choose Pumpkin.
Do you think Pound and Pumpkin will still have their powers of flying and magic, or do you think they will lose their powers at some point and they will
relearn flying and magic?
What?
Again, based on Slice of Life, I'm going to say that they probably still have to train. I just don't know if I want you to keep reading these questions.
I do good on some of them. It's just these ones are very fast.
Anyway, do you think flying is something that can be taught, or is it more of an instinct that they have? It could be both. It's a thing which could come naturally to some Pegasi, whereas others have trouble with it. What do you think of the comics, both the regular and the mini one? The main line of comics is excellent. The dialogue is entertaining, the artwork is fantastic. The mini comics I have not read, but I flipped through volume 1 of the Twilight Sparkle comic, and the artwork is fucking awful, so I have no interest in reading that.
Oh, let me read this one. Archimedes Pegasus, can I pet your luxurious mane?
If you catch me at BronyCon, you can give it a try.
Emma, would you rather lose your sense of taste or never be allowed to look at anything pony related? That includes watching the show and talking with bronies about ponies.
I would not choose either option. And don't say you can't choose neither, because I just did.
Anonymous, what's sondash?
Okay, so I googled sondash, and apparently it refers to Sonic and Rainbow Dash together. And since I really don't like Sonic the Hedgehog, I do not approve.
I was just now hearing about this. I'm disgusted.
I didn't say they had to be a couple, but whatever. Next question.
Anonymous, what motivates you to make videos?
The feedback. I started doing videos because I thought it would be a better way to reach the community and get my points across. And when I got positive feedback for doing it, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do more.
The Punks Club 21. What's your favorite MLP song?
My favorite song is at the gala, at the gala, at the gala, in the garden, I'm going to see them all the creatures, I'll befriend them at the gala. At the gala. Shit, I fucked up. At the gala is my favorite song.
If you were one of the staff members for My Little Pony, what would you improve?
Probably the continuity, if I'm being honest, because, you know, I'm not that creative. I'm not going to try to improve stuff, but I just want the continuity to be a little bit tighter. There's too many there's a lot of lines in the show that I feel like are just thrown out there because the writers were doing a joke or whatever, and then it completely contradicts some part of the story on accident, and I just would tighten that up. Or if it's on if they are accounting for everything, I'd just make that more clear.
Unstable Brony. I've always loved writing and reading poetry, as well as songs. Since I've discovered the Brony community, I've wanted to start publishing my work online, but I have no real idea about how to properly get started and promote my work. Ideas?
Well, I don't really know how to promote your work. A good way to get started would, if you're just like talking about like the poetry itself, or like lyrics or something, I guess start a Tumblr and find other Tumblrs who do that stuff and just respond to them. Throw your shit out on Reddit and YouTube and just try to give it to people. Just try to make people see your stuff. The The other day, someone sent me a recording of them singing a song, and I thought it was okay, and I liked it, and I think they got like 100 views just from me liking it. So I mean, I'm not like gonna majorly promote your stuff personally, but that's a good way to get stuff out there. It's just to send it around. So yeah.
Moose. Do you think King Sombra should get more exposure in Season 4 to develop his character more? Like, maybe he comes back, and they have to defeat him again or something.
I wouldn't mind seeing more Sombra if they can expand on the story of what happened. Like, what was this whole story with him in the Crystal Empire? Because it was pretty confusing the first time, and I wouldn't mind learning more about it. I wouldn't learn more... Every time I get a question like this where it's like, would you like to learn more about this character? It's like, of course I want to learn more about the character. I don't not want to see any of them. So, yeah.
Tugglewugs. What hell hath you unleashed?
I don't know!
Are you expecting any other fandoms similar to this one to pop up anytime in the future? Explain.
I would love that to happen. I'd love for there to be more... I mean, I've seen other fandoms like this that are big and expressive, but it's rare that they so much adopt the spirit of what they're a fan of. Like, it's sort of like a widespread self-modification where people try to become more like the show. Like, even me, when I first started writing, when I first started watching MLP, like, before I started blogging about it, I had started to get, like, really dismissive about stuff on my blog. Like, I would just write in this way that was kind of, like, I don't know, I came across as somewhat of an ass, and I really wanted to stop that because it felt inauthentic to me, and I was like, I shouldn't be talking about stuff I don't really care about or being dismissive about stuff. I want to just be really, genuine and tackle stuff that I really care about. So yeah, the show kind of inspires people to better themselves, and I think that's great. I think it's great to have a community that's really up for that. I don't want people to be like, oh, you watch My Little Pony, so you have to act this certain way to be a part of the community, but I think it's great if people do want to change the way that they act, and I'd love to see more fandoms like that.
Bobby Waldman, do you think any idea with enough time and effort can be a great fanfic?
I don't see why not. Anything can be good as long as it's well done. See MLP. And I'll read this next one because it's long as
Your
fuck.
turn.
Alright, so this is from Monarilla. It says, this is a long shot, but I'll ask it anyway since I have nothing to lose. I create worlds and stories in my spare time as a hobby, not on paper but in my head since I'm surprisingly good at keeping track of all the lore and I add to my worlds. But what I have always wanted to do is write a story based inside one of the worlds I created. One of them is actually a completely non-canon blah blah blah. My question is, if you would like to write a story, any story based in one of my worlds, I want to ask you personally because I think you're an excellent writer and as a fan, would love it if I could actually have a story that was written by you. If you're not interested or just don't have the time, I would still consider it an honor if you would look at some of my work. Blah blah. If you don't feel like doing that, then I might as well have an extra question just in case. So, do you have any headcanons on Princess Luna's lifestyle? Okay. With regards to the whole writing thing, the truth is that I am not a good fiction writer. Just like you, I am good at creating worlds and lore. I have created hundreds of characters, and I've created all kinds of worlds for them to live in. But I also am awful at writing stories that are set in those worlds. I can't ever think of... I'm terrible at, like, coming up with something for my characters to do. I just like having them. I mostly end up writing these weird-ass slice-of-life stories. So, yeah. If you want me to look at your world or whatever, you can send me a PM to, like, a Google Doc or something, and I'll have a look at it. But I probably won't end up writing... I mean, I'd rather... If I'm going to write some fiction, I'm going to write about my own characters and my own worlds before I start writing about other people's stuff. So, yeah. I'm also better as an editor. Like, he's actually writing a story, so I'm editing his story, whereas rather than me writing in his universe, it's like he's actually writing, and that's more interesting to me. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on, so I don't really want to get involved in a bunch of other people's projects. As for Princess Luna, I don't really have any headcanons about her lifestyle. I like the stuff that the fandom comes up with, but none of it's like really like... I'm fine with, like, Gamer Luna and stuff, but I don't personally adopt it as my own headcanon. Next question.
Kargath, what do you think about the idea of Season 4 and other seasons after focusing on new ponies rather than the original 6?
Well, Season 4 is definitely not going to be about new ponies. It's going to be about the original 6, because the writers would not have... They probably would have not hinted so much that they were going to involve the main 6 if they were going to change up the cast. It's really hard for me to imagine that the entire show would change focus. It would kind of defeat the point of being the show. This is the kind of thing that would happen like 7 or 8 seasons in, and they wanted to switch out like 2 or 3 cast members, but it's not going to happen in this show because they even at worst they would switch out the voice actors of the characters if the voice actors didn't want to do it and they wanted to continue and Hasbro wanted to continue the show. But in animation, there's no need to switch out characters, so I don't think it would ever happen.
Okay. What do you think about the theory that Alicorn Twilight isn't real, and that she's still looking into Sombra's door, and that shooting it with love didn't open the way, but instead made her see what she wants the most? I know this
the answer to this question,
but I saw it floating around, and I wanted to know what you think.
Okay, I'm really not a fan of these theories, the ones that are like, it was all a dream, because this adds nothing to discussing the episode. There's no point to this theory. You can't disprove it. You can't prove it. It's just there. So, I don't...
Zargi. Best ship ever!
I'm going to go with Vinyl and Octavia because I've been reading University Days, and it's amazing, so that.
Favorite YouTube brony?
Okay, so I'm going to cut out all the musicians and all the animators, so because I think they're kind of too obvious or something, and just talk about people who are specifically doing stuff for YouTube, like, expecting comments and responses and stuff like that. So, I like my fellow YouTube reviewers, such as the A&Y Pony, who really deserves more attention, Brony Curious, who I've become really good friends with since starting my channel. Shout out to Strebiskunk, who is probably actually my favorite reviewer, because I don't know, I guess I just like his voice a lot. He has a great voice. Golden Fox is great too. Out of all of the people who do like YouTube poops and PMVs and anything like that, I've always been a fan of Jay Holler. I remember hanging out one time in a stream by Jay Holler for like 5 hours while he was masking video and just talking to him in the stream, and that was fun. Yeah, I think it's great that he's doing those top 10 videos now that Brony whatever is not doing it anymore, Movie Brony. So yeah, I love those top 10 videos. So yeah, I guess Jay Holler is my pick for my favorite YouTube Brony who's not an animator or musician. Next question.
Swift Notes. Digibrony, will you marry me?
And will you put
up a video of you singing and rapping just for the fun of it?
We skipped somebody who asked if I would marry them.
Did we?
We did at some point because I knew it was early on that it happened. So anyway, my response to everyone who wants to know if I will marry them: I will require a picture, 2 forms of ID, and we should probably get to know each other first. But anyway, yes, I will do more videos of me rapping and singing just for fun, for the hell of it, because that's kind of why I originally started Digibrony After Dark. It's just that I get really self-conscious about my singing performances. I go, oh, this isn't good enough, everyone's going to hate me, I don't like my videos, I'm going to have to do it again. So, yeah, that's why I don't usually release karaoke videos.
Anonymous. Why did you name your channel Digibrony?
Okay, here's a lengthy explanation of my username history. In late 2006, I decided to change my online identity because I was like, not 15 anymore and not as shitty. So I had been listening to this song called 21st Century Digital Boy by Bad Religion a lot, and I chose that as my username. And it really stuck because, first, the name was too long, 21st Century Digital Boy, to use on like most sites, so I cut it down. Most sites somebody already had the name Digital Boy, so I started attaching the current year on the front of my name. So I would be 2006 Digital Boy, and then every year I would update my username on all the websites I go to, so it'd be 2007, 2008 Digital Boy. I clung to this name because I've always been into stuff that's really current. I like the current generation of works being put out, so I really feel I identify with the 21st century. I spend all my time around digital media, so I am digital, and I used to really view myself as being really young. It just like a thing with me, like everyone always seemed to be older than me, and I always felt really immature and like I wasn't doing anything with my life, so I considered myself a boy. I was a digital boy. And I held on to that name for years, but in 2011, I started to feel more uncomfortable with the name because I didn't feel like I should be calling myself a boy anymore because I was a grown-ass man, and I felt like I wasn't as immature, and at this point I was older than a lot of the people I know, so I said, fuck it, let's go up. So I was going to change my name to Schizoid Man because the song 21st Century Digital Boy is based on an even better song by King Crimson called 21st Century Schizoid Man. But I'm not a schizoid, and I don't really identify with man, either as a gender role or as a thing. It just, I don't know. I don't like the idea of being a man. So a lot of people had called me Digibro before as a nickname, so I took that. So I became Digibro. At the start of 2012, I changed my name to Digibro on like every website, which is not usually taken on places, so I didn't have to keep adding the current year to my name. And then it just so happened that like a month after I changed my name to Digibro, I became a brony, and it was just like, oh, I just have to tack on NY onto the end of my name. So I did it on Twitter at first as like kind of a joke, and then every time I signed on to like a site that I was using mostly for ponies, I was like, well, Digibrony. So, obviously, if I was going to do a pony video series, that was the natural name to go with.
You can read the next question.
Holy shit, this question's long.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Sari. Hi, what's your opinion on the cutie marks representing the moment in which a pony discovers his or her destiny rather than a literal representation of what the character is meant to do? The former seems to have a wee bit more sense when you look at some of the main six's cutie marks, such as Rarity. I've heard... I don't actually need to read all this. The answer is... I agree. Well, I guess I kind of do. She was basically saying that Rarity's talent isn't really finding gems; it's making clothes, and therefore the cutie mark just kind of represents the moment that she got her cutie mark. So I agree that her talent isn't finding gems. The gem cutie mark just represents the same thing as her name, that it's Rarity. Everything she does is a rarity. It's a diamond in the rough. So she's all about finding sort of rarity itself. Cutie marks are just sort of metaphorical representations of the talent. Like, Pinkie Pie's cutie mark is balloons. Her talent's not balloons, it's partying, but balloons are a metaphor for partying. Next question.
Anonymous, what does your cutie mark mean?
My cutie mark is a magnifying glass that is analyzing a pie chart. Yeah, it's meant to represent analysis, so that's what that is. Next question.
You should read it.
Brony of Gallifrey 9. Well, I am a closet brony, and I wanted to know how to deal with those who are in real life. I have friends who I know who are bronies/pegasisters. I have kept quiet in my year and a half of being a brony. My sister, however, knows. Should I tell my brony friends that I am a brony, or should I protect my identity? Well, it really depends on the circumstances and what kind of person you are. For me, self-identity is a big deal. I like it when people know what I'm about. So, suffice it to say, everyone knows that I'm a brony. Everyone knows that I make videos based on the show, and everyone has listened to me talk about My Little Pony at length. I wouldn't even know how to keep it a secret. So, I always say go for it. If you have friends who are bronies, I don't see why they would criticize you. That would be pretty weird. So, go ahead and tell them. Next question. I guess I'll read this one too, because it's also long.
It's weird.
Steel Shimmer asks, so in your video about Starswirl the Bearded, you argued that Celestia had been grooming Twilight to be her successor. You said that this is the result of Starswirl not being able to grasp the magic of friendship in the past. Do you think it's possible that Celestia artificially extended her own lifespan, and maybe Luna's, after Starswirl's failure, in order to find the right successor to the throne? Sorry, I know I'm probably reading too deep into this. I don't know how a lifespan can be artificially extended. If she extended it, then it's official. Sorry, that's wordplay, and I was drinking when I wrote this, apparently. Anyways, I think Celestia just lives forever. So, yeah. Next question.
Cobalt Hailstorm, do you find it weird that Canada is starting Season 3 of MLP this Saturday?
That is pretty weird. It's also weird that apparently Canada airs a censored version of the show. They actually have to bleep out certain words.
What?
Even though the show is made in Canada, it is not fit for the channel that they broadcast it on in Canada. Next question.
That's just so weird. Dream, seeing as Pinkie Pie is my favorite pony, I would love to know how you think her history went down. How did she find Ponyville, do you think?
This is one of the mysteries that I am the most curious about myself. When did she leave home? Why is she with the cakes? What exactly is her job? Pinkie is a weird character, so I haven't really made any headcanons about it myself. I'm just really curious as well. I would like to know.
Anonymous, do you have a least favorite episode of MLP? If so, which one and why?
I can't say for sure because I haven't rewatched the whole show anytime recently, but it's probably Ghostbusters. Did I say more than that? Or no. Actually, I said it's a bird in the hoof because it's really hard for me to watch that episode because that bird is fucking gross, and I don't want to look at it. And it wasn't like a great episode anyway. It was okay, but I just don't want to look at this gross-ass bird for 22 minutes. So.
All right.
That was, I think, my original choice was that. I didn't used to hate Ghostbusters as much as I do now, but yeah. Go ahead, next question.
Levy Price. So what would be your take on equestrian military force if they were ever approached by a threat from another race? Like when the Changelings attacked... Changelings.
How would the military function? I imagine they'd function just like any other military with like a cautious guard ready to defend themselves, and I don't know anything about the military, so I don't know. Next question.
Is this one right?
What is your opinion about Derpy? I think she's adorable. Next question.
Have you ever written pony fanfiction?
Yes, I wrote 2 chapters of a fanfiction called Pinkie Pie's Toothache of Destiny, which you can find on fanfiction. I stopped writing it because I ran out of ideas, like, very quickly. I was gonna do, like... It was basically gonna be, like, telling the dental stories of all the ponies and stuff. It was just epic adventure about dentistry. Mostly, it just had, like, the whole story is just, like, nothing but dialogue. I'm terrible at writing, like, I'm terrible at, like, describing shit, so it's just, like, characters constantly talking, and all of it's, like, constant alliteration and just... hilarious puns, so that's like the whole story. It's just alliteration, puns, and people talking and screaming. Yeah, that's all it is. So it had a lot of watchers, so I guess it's worth looking at, but it only has 2 chapters. It's like 3,000 words. You can read it in 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but I'm not really proud of it either.
What exactly is your ponysona's special talent? Do you think he would fit into the established society of Equestria?
Digibrony's talent is analysis! I'm sure he'd get along great with smart ponies like Twilight and Princess Celestia. Also, just get closer to the mic.
What is...
Or angle it more towards me. You're so quiet. Read.
I can't read the screen from here. If it's not too sensitive, what are your religious views? And do you think they have affected how you see MLP? Do you have an answer? If you don't want to, you don't gotta answer that.
I don't have any religious views, so they don't affect how I see MLP at all, except in the absence thereof.
Yay, read this one.
High Fidelity asks, MLP FIM is one of the most well-animated cartoons I've ever seen. The first time I watched it, I dropped a tear of joy and emotion. I mean, even now, watching top animes like Evangelion 1.0 and 2.0, I'm surprised by the quality and effort animators put into each episode. Just amazing. The question is, are you really into MLP because of its quality animation, or by other aspects like storytelling, plot, etc.? It's a lot of everything. I've talked a lot about the specific things that like really engrossed me about the show in my celebrating 1 year of Bronydom video, but the animation does have a lot to do with it. I am a big fan of animation on a technical level, so yeah, when I watch the show, I think it's just fucking brilliant. It's not just animation in terms of like fluidity and the raw technicality of what's happening. It's not like Disney where it's just everything's moving and it's like, oh my god, the fluidity is amazing, but it's what they are expressing in animation that makes it so impressive. So yeah, that has a lot to do with it. Next question.
Unova Brony. How would you start to become a reviewer in your footsteps if you only can show your face, no media, and try to do it within 5 to 10 minutes?
I'd cut out the media and show my face and try to do it in 5 to 10 minutes. It doesn't sound that far-fetched from what I'm already doing, so I don't know. Next question.
What would your reaction be if you met a brony who watched My Little Pony Friendship is Magic from the very beginning?
I'd say awesome!
What would your reaction be if you met a brony who calls himself a brony, yet the only reason be a death battle, and not even know the elements of harmony?
All right, I think what this guy was trying to say, because he also mentions Rainbow Dash versus Starscream, is that his friend watched Rainbow Dash versus Starscream and calls himself a brony, but hasn't actually watched the show. And I say, well, brony is a self-identity thing. I don't really want to go around telling people, dude, you're not a brony, you don't even know shit, because it's really just up to you. You can go ahead and call whoever you want a brony to be a brony, but I don't care.
Do you believe this would be a wonderful idea for a fanfic?
I cut out what this guy was asking would be a wonderful idea for a fanfic. Anything can be a good fanfic if you spend enough time on it. That's all I have to say.
What would be your future career on Earth/Equestria if your OC has a job there?
Hopefully making YouTube videos.
What would the solution be for a bronies OC who has so many talents?
Pick a cutie mark that represents the fact that they're a jack of all trades.
If there was another battle with the changelings, the challengings, what would a lesson be for the audience if aired as an episode?
I don't know, but there is another battle with the changelings that's happening in the comics right now. If you dreamt of the concept of changelings while being a brony in Season 2 before the finale and then saw the finale, did you predict the future, mere coincidence, or do you have a deeper connection with the pony than you thought? I don't know, but if I had managed to have that specific dream, I would have been pretty stoked. I have actually had all kinds of weird predictions, or not really predictions so much as me being able to read through a show and see things, so I guess I predicted the whole Destiny thing. I felt pretty badass about that one. Next thing.
If you put riders with the main 6 pony... I don't get this question at all.
This guy's writing is kind of hard to read. If you put writers with the main 6 pony that they work well with characterization, who would go with each main 6 pony and how good they are in each role? So what he's asking is basically match up each writer with the pony that they're the best at writing. I would have to put a lot of work into thought into this. I'd have to go through every episode, and I'd have to, keep track of who wrote what and where they were the best. It's easier to just pick out, really noticeable stuff like M.A. Larson can't do Fluttershy, but I don't know. So, it's too much effort for me to do right now.
Weeping Pegasus. Do you think cutie marks are, as magical mystery cures seem to indicate, just marks that don't give talent, or do they actually bring some sort of ability to the pony, like in Cutie Pox, Cutie Pox indicated?
What he's asking, because in Cutie Pox it seemed like by getting cutie marks, then Apple Bloom was then able to do all these abilities, but then Magical Mystery Cure did not have the same effect. I think Magical Mystery Cure is probably the correct one. There was nothing in the show to... Cutie Pox is a weird episode. I think it was probably just something to do with the disease, or they didn't think it through enough, or I don't know. Next question.
Anonymous, do you think Stephen Magnet will get a reappearance?
Actually, I really would not be surprised if Stephen Magnet comes back. The writers have shown that they like bringing back minor characters. He's gotten a toy and everything, and I think Lee Tokar would be completely ecstatic to get to do that character again.
List your favorite princesses in order, and why.
I'm guessing it was phrased differently.
Yeah.
Wait, where is that?
Right here.
You skipped a fucking question again. You skipped Simon. How do you skip questions?
They don't have question marks.
You realize the questions are italicized, right? You noticed that I went through and italicized all of them.
I didn't notice that.
Wow! My favorite princess is Twilight Sparkle because she's already my second favorite character in the show, so she kind of just wins by default. And number 2 goes to Luna because she's adorable and she's fun to watch, and she has one of the best episodes of the show. It's hard to choose between Celestia and Cadence because I like them both, and they both have great moments, but I don't really feel like I know much about them, so I'm kind of mostly indifferent. Go back to the question you skipped.
Simon, if you were to give Digibrony a personality separate from your own, what would it be, and describe why you chose those characteristics? Thanks!
The biggest difference between me and Digibrony is that he would be a pony, and therefore have pony tendencies. He'd also be aware that he is a pony version of me, and he'd have all of my knowledge, even though he is in the pony world, which would allow him to experience his own reality meta as a meta reality, because fun.
Anonymous, ever see Turnabout Storm?
No, I think I've seen 15 minutes of Turnabout Storm in streams over time. I think people were playing it in a stream once and I watched some of it. I first of all, it's long as fuck, so I haven't been like willing to sit down and watch it. I have not played any Phoenix Wright games, so I won't get any cross references and stuff. So and I'm not that interested in the mystery genre to begin with. I might watch it one day or something, but it's just so long.
What do you think about Fallout Equestria? Also, who's your favorite? What's your favorite story?
I haven't read any of Fallout Equestria for similar reasons to Turnabout Storm, that it's long as fuck, and I haven't actually played Fallout. So yeah, I probably will end up at least reading a chapter of Fallout Equestria at some point, just because I feel like I should know about it, because it's such a big thing.
Do you think that Season 4 will have something to do with the games that Games Ponies Play mentioned?
It would be nice if we got an episode or two showing the games, since the staff could dream up all kinds of cool, imaginative things for the ponies to compete. And you know what would be really epic would be if they got like all these ponies or characters from past episodes to come in during the games. Like, you could have Iron Will in a strongman competition, and if there's some kind of magic-based competition, Trixie could be there. It'd be totally cool to do that.
Will you ever fix your OC's leg? Also, what's his name?
I didn't draw my OC, so I can't fix him personally, and I'm also not sure that he's broken. His legs are positioned the same way as the legs that were on my old Sweetie Belle avatar, which is a show vector as far as I know, so I don't really know if it's a problem. It's ultimately up to Mizu Takashima if she wants to change anything, and his name, of course, is Digibrony!
What do you consider your special talent?
Analysis. It really comes more natural to me than any other kind of writing, and I try to write fiction, and that's just a struggle. But when I write analysis, it's fun.
If you were to make an MLP episode, how would it be?
I know I answered this question already, but I thought of a great episode concept earlier when I was on Reddit, and I saw a picture. It was a picture called Guys Night Out, and it had Spike and Shining Armor leaving the treehouse together. And I thought it would be pretty awesome if we had an episode about, like, Spike, Shining Armor, and Big Macintosh just, like, chilling. And Spike would, like, start really looking up to them. And, like, Shining Armor would be, like, his doodly mentor. And it would be fun, and it would be charming. And it would be a way to finally have a guy episode.
Did you know that hooves are actually the nails of a horse's middle finger?
I do now.
Okay, that was gross. Will you forgive me?
Forgiven!
What do you think the CMC's cutie marks will be? How will they be acquired?
It's funny because in the Showstoppers, it was heavily hinted at what each of the Cutie Mark Crusaders' talents and cutie marks were going to be, and then they've never brought it up again. But I think those are probably going to be what it is.
If Celestia rules Equestria and Cadence rules the Crystal Empire, what does Twilight will rule?
You don't have to read the grammar mistakes.
I really liked that grammar mistake.
I think it will probably be explained in the Season 4 premiere. I'm not going to try to make predictions and then just be proven wrong as soon as it starts.
Do I have such bad grammar?
No, that says, do I have such a bad grammar? And I said,
I edited that, like...
And I said, based on this sentence, yes, you have such a bad grammar. Okay, next one.
Anonymous. Favorite So Great and Powerful song?
Okay, this is a really difficult question. Altogether, I think my favorite song is A Sorceress Girl, but it's hard to say. For a while, I was I'm just reading the exact thing I wrote because it's true. For a while, I was considering Indelible Ink to be my favorite song, but I really burned myself out on listening to it too much. Dashie's Hearth-Swarming Eve is also pretty up there for me. A Beautiful Heart is top tier as well, and the part in the middle where it's like... That's like the best fucking moment in music ever. And then there's the song In History Maybe, which I think is the best use of the pony dialogue. It's like, the shadows of white coolness, the thousands, the Pegasus with those wonderbolts, the shine months of ponies, wait and see me. That's like the best use of ponies. And then there's a part where she's like, whoa, that part gives me chills every time. The first song I actually got into with So Great and Powerful was On My Own, the Applejack song, but I don't know about calling it a favorite. Out of the Season 2 songs, my favorite is definitely Episode 30, Love and Admiration, followed very closely by Episode 38, And then also I love Sofas and Quills, and the Space Pony song, if you listen to it as all one 8-minute track, is definitely among my favorites. And then there's Never Never Never, the song that he did with Psychedelic Brony, which is fucking amazing and just totally creepy and awesome. So yeah, basically everything by So Great and Powerful is fucking gold.
Archimedes Pegasus, can I scratch you behind your pony ears?
If you track me down at BronyCon, you may do so.
Dr. Who's 127, why did you choose this method for interacting with the community?
Because this method works. I started a pony Tumblr about a year ago, which was basically the same thing I'm doing now. I was writing a bunch of like short analytical stuff about My Little Pony, and no one was reading it. I tried like posting stuff up on Reddit and stuff, and just nobody really pays attention to text posts. So, and I couldn't even find anybody else who was doing text analysis of MLP. The only stuff I was ever really able to find was in video form or in picture form. There was one like detailed analysis I had read about the characters, but it was all in the form of DeviantArt pictures, not as text. So no one was really reading it, and I realized pretty quickly that if you want to reach the Brony community, you gotta do it in a visual medium. So I figured that if I wanted to do, because I wanted to do these episodic analysis, and I thought that doing it with pictures would be better anyway, because of the fact that animation is really important part of why I like the show, and I wanted to be able to show the awesome moments and instead of just talking about them. So I was like, if I do that, I'll also get a bigger audience at the same time. So I killed two birds with one stone.
Sean Dillon, thoughts on Conversion Bureau?
I have not read any of Conversion Bureau.
Why do bronies keep making Celestia evil?
I think it's probably because we've been brought up to fear the idea of a totalitarian government, which she appears to represent.
Am I the only one who wanted Discord to have a mariachi band when he came out of the statue and keep calm and flutter on?
Probably.
I want that now.
I would want it, yeah, now that I've heard it. It sounds awesome, but I didn't think of it beforehand.
With 5 minutes to prepare, come up with a pitch for Doctor Who's spin-off series.
Well, I don't need 5 minutes. I need 5 seconds. You take Doctor Who and you set it in Ponyville instead of London. Mission complete.
What's the worst episode of MLP?
The worst episode is probably Ghostbusters. You can look forward to me finally doing another video about that soon-ish.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Sweetie Belle dreams of Electric Dragon 80,000 volts. Nobody's gonna get that.
Who is your least favorite of the main 6 and why?
My least favorite is Fluttershy, but don't take that to mean I don't like Fluttershy. I just like the other 5 even more, but I love them all.
P. Kelton, in your opinion, who's the best villain thematically and in execution, in retrospect with the main cast? Also, what do you think about the old Derpy thing?
Thematically, Discord was obviously the best villain. He was literally the antithesis of harmony, which is what the main 6 are supposed to represent. It doesn't get much better than that, which is why so many people think that it was a missed opportunity to make Discord into not a villain anymore. As for the Derpy thing, I have no opinion. I didn't think it was a big deal. I didn't get why anybody was losing their shit about it. It just kind of fucking annoyed the shit out of me, so yeah.
Read this.
Luzoladad, how expensive do you think are the gems in MLP? I mean, looks like are not so big thing the most of time. Did I not edit this question? But sometimes looks like are even a pay form.
Does anyone?
I think we get it.
Yeah.
That question comes up later.
Good.
The gems are definitely a confusing aspect of the show after just for sidekicks. I'd love to get some kind of clarification about it, but I don't really have a headcanon about it because I don't even understand the economy anyway.
Can you put lyrics in your song without Luna? Just if you can, not in order, only a request.
I'm assuming that you mean you want me to put lyrics in the video, because I already put the lyrics in the description of the video. That would take fucking forever, because I would want to do it right. I'd want to do it like sing-along and have the lyrics, look good and stuff, and I don't have the energy to do that. So if somebody else wants to make a lyric video for it, you can go right ahead.
Plain Lake apparently had a very long question about Fluttershy, which you've cut for time.
The answer to all of your Fluttershy questions will be covered when I eventually make a video examining Fluttershy as a character. This will probably be a really long time in the making, though, because I want to watch all of the entire show before I start talking about the characters. But I hope you'll look forward to it.
Aquatic Flareon. Quick, who would win? Flareon with a portal gun or Pinkie Pie with a flame sword?
How can either of them hold those things?
Sketch. Are you Sweetie Belle's real father? Also, how did we send you fanfics? How do we send you fanfics?
I like to think of myself as Sweetie Belle's secret older brother. You can send fanfics to me either by sending me a private message on YouTube or just comment on the blog where you've left this question.
Let's read that.
Okay, Raiko89. What's the situation on dramatic readings from you? As in, will you be doing dramatic readings? Will you be doing any more fanfic reviews? Fucking loved your University Days review. At last, there's a new chapter of University Days. Shit is getting real. You said you might reconsider or whatever when the next chapter was released. I'm still thinking about this, and if I decide to do it, you're not going to see anything about it for a while because it's going to take a lot of fucking effort to do this because I'm going to be a total perfectionist about it. I'm going to want to nail down all the voices. I'm going to want every line to sound just right. It's going to take me 9 years to edit it. And, you know, I don't know if I want to change lines from the story. Like, I don't need the word Vinyl said after a line if I just read it in Vinyl's voice. I might add in sound effects. There's just so much to do, and that's why I've been so hesitant about it. Because if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it like absolute top possible quality, and then have like 10 people who actually watch it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Who are your favorite pony designs?
I think Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle have the most aesthetically pleasing designs, and I think that's probably why there's so the hell much Twidash out there, because that's like the most popular ship. I think Rarity's design is a stroke of genius too, because it communicates her character in such a brilliant way. And then Sweetie Belle is so goddamn adorable!
How do you feel about the older gens?
I haven't watched any of them yet. I've been primed on what to expect. I'm actually pretty curious about Generation 1 because I've heard it's not that bad, and it looks like it's got this sort of like fantastical vibe to it that I think looks pretty cool. So I wouldn't mind watching like at least a couple episodes of that. I want to see the Sea Ponies and Lord Smooth, so I'll probably watch a little bit of it. But I'm not going to come near 2 or 3 because I know they're awful, so why the fuck would I want to watch that?
Do you own any pony merch? If so, what do you have?
I'm going to read it right off here because it's like a list. I've got the first 3 issues of the comic book with alt covers for issues 1 and 2. I've got the Friendship Express DVD as well, and those are all the merch that I've bought myself. My aunt bought my brother and I these MLP bag things, which came with like a handful of blind bag ponies, and then they also had MLP themed shower gels, and like these entirely too small for an adult man like soap scrubber things, which I've had to use once, and it felt really wrong. I've also ended up using most of the Applejack and Princess Celestia shower gels because I kept running out of my own shower gel. Exactly.
I don't know at what point that happened, but it was in the shower, and I was like, I want to smell like ponies.
I have one brushable Applejack toy, which I think my aunt bought for me as well. At a thrift store, and she also got me the brony t-shirt, the one with the Rainbow Dash and it just says brony, which is incredibly comfortable, but it fades like really fucking fast. But she bought me that. My aunt's actually been a fan of My Little Pony since the 80s, so she was really excited about the whole new generation being popular. Besides that, I've got an MLP shirt with the entire cast on it. I've got the 20% cooler throw blanket, which my mom bought me. And my little brother has the Derpy is Best Pony t-shirt and the Keep Calm and Brony on jacket. The other day, I finally ordered the Pinkie Hard t-shirt from Angie WK, which is Pinkie with blood running down her face, and it says Party Hard, which is just several layers of awesome for me because I'm a big Angie WK fan. I really want to get the Twilicorn t-shirt and the Sweet Apple Acres t-shirt that are on We Love Fine that were designed by Sofas and Quills, because I think Sofas and Quills is a great artist, but those shirts are expensive and YouTube is not making me that much money yet.
I've got a rarity, but she died. Just to clarify,
can they see that?
Are you going to BronyCon in Maryland this year?
Yes, I will be putting out an announcement video about BronyCon very soon. I will be doing something very special there, so, and I also will be cosplaying as Digibrony.
Bright Sky, Fave CMC,
Sweetie Belle,
Luna or Woona.
Can't I have both?
Celestia, Trolestia, or Molestia.
Can I have all 3?
Benji234. So, why does your OC's mane have a tail look like...
Mane and tail look like Sweetie Belle. Was that a personal thing, or did you just really like her mane? Because that's how she says it in the show. I told Mizu Takashima that I was a big fan of Sweetie Belle's design, and before she made Digibrony, before she made Digibrony, I was using an inverted color version of Sweetie Belle as my avatar. If you've been around watching my channel for long enough, then you'll have seen that. So yeah, Digibrony was deliberately based on Sweetie Belle.
David Barragan. When was it you realized that Brony seriously started to pay attention to My Little Pony?
No, to your videos. Just get out! When was it that when did I realize that bronies were really paying attention to my videos and that I was growing a fan base? That happened about just now. Like, really, it was a very sudden and surprising process. I think most of the bronies who have become popular had, like, a more steady progression of their videos. They probably had, like, one explosively popular video on Equestria Daily, and then everything kind of followed from there. That didn't happen to me. Or, like, if I was like getting shared by J Holler and Saberspark, it might make sense, but that's not happening. So it's fucking weird. My videos are just ramping up in subs on like a 500 a day basis. Like, you have to understand, this is not like, it's not like I think a lot of people are coming in now and they're saying like, oh, you have 9,000 subscribers, and then they're like, because I got a few messages where people like people thought that because when I hit 8,000, I made the AMA thing, and I said, I'll post up the answers when I reach 10,000. And people were like, dude, you ended up reaching 10,000 in like 4 days. Are people fucking with you to get the video out? And I'm like, you have to understand, for the past 2 weeks, it's been 500 subs a day. I went from 4,000 to 8,000 in 1 week. So it's just I'm just constantly getting subs. I don't know why. I don't know what's happening, but it's fucking crazy, and it's awesome, and it seems to be real because I had 500 people asking me fucking questions. So, yeah, a lot of people are watching it, and it's awesome. It feels great. I'm glad that my videos are popular. Oh, and a big moment for me was when I got 1,000 comments on my Magical Mystery Cure video. That was when I really knew that things were taking off. But this AMA situation, just the gravity of what has happened with this AMA just is really another level. And that's actually where we're going to stop part 1B of listening. We're going to continue that tomorrow. Annotations. I farted.
Oh God. Oh.
Annotations. Annotation. Are we gonna do this joke every time? Is the joke always gonna be we just annotations?
You started it.
Yeah, but we gotta be more creative in the future. The end of that. Where's the fucking mouse?